Good morning. Welcome back to the 30th anniversary of the ADA in the midst of the pandemic. I want to welcome you to the options in higher education for students with disabilities. My name is Melanie, and I'll be facilitating this session. So we have 9 panelists representing a variety of institutions and programs. So please, as I introduce you, turn your video on and then turn it off as I move to the next person. I'm going to turn my video off now. All right, so our first panelist is Johnny Manella. Johnny Manella has been involved in higher education over 15 years. He's employed by Baton Rouge Community College for over 8 years in positions such as Director of Financial Aid, Director of Student Outreach, Director of the Student Services Center, and Interim Director of the Program for Successful Employment, which he has been in for the past 7 months. Johnny Manella. Next, we have Tim Delany. Tim Delany is the Director for the Office of Disability Services and Compliance at McNeese State University. He's about to start his 24th year in this office, and he has a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling. Tim Delany. Next, we have Dr. Gerlinde Jerisic. Dr. Gerlinde Jerisic serves as the Director of the UL Life at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. She holds a bachelor's degree in mass communication from Louisiana State University, a master's of arts in teaching degree, and a doctorate in educational leadership from both UL of Lafayette. Dr. Gerlinde Jerisic. Thank you. Next, we have Benjamin Cornwell. Benjamin has served as the department head for disability services at LSU since 1999 and is currently the Associate Dean of Students and Director of Disability Services. Benjamin graduated with a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling from LSU Health and Science Center in 1996. He also worked at Tulane from 1997 to 99 and started their disability services office. Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Mary Breaud. Has Dr. Breaud joined us?
She's getting on. Can you do her introduction?
Okay, so I'll come back. Next, we have Dr. Gerlinde Beckers. Dr. Gerlinde Beckers is an associate professor and director of Lions Connected at Southeastern Louisiana University in the College of Education. This is her 29th year in the field of special education, and she holds the Pennington Research Endowment. Thank you, Dr. Beckers. Next, we have Cindy Haying. Cindy is the director of the Program for Successful Employment at Berger Parish Community College. Her bachelor's is from UL Lafayette, and her master's in education in special education is from Midwestern State University in Texas. Thank you, Cindy. And here is Dr. Mary Breaud. Dr. Mary Breaud is the program advisor for the Educational Leadership P12 graduate program and the co-creator / program advisor for the Bridge to Independence program at Nicholls State University. Thank you, Dr. Breaud. Next, we have Amarachi Ukachu, and she is from LSU Health and Science Center with the Human Development Center. Amarachi has obtained her master's degree in clinical rehabilitation counseling from Louisiana State University Health and Science Center. Thank you, Ms. Ukachu. Last but not least, we have Jada Neders. Ms. Neders is the Interim Coordinator of Disability Services at Southern University at Baton Rouge. She is a graduate of Nicholls State University, where she received her specialist degree in school psychology and her Master's of Arts degree in psychological counseling. Thank you very much. So this session will be conducted as a question and answer session. The questions will be directed to particular persons. So we'll go ahead and get started. So we will begin with disability services. And so let's start out with McNeese. Okay, so what is available to students through disability services at your institution? You're on mute, Mr. Delany.
Sorry about that. We provide all types of accommodation. It really depends on the disability. We have some that get note takers, a lot get extended time on tests, distraction reduced testing environments. We provide interpreters. Just basically depends on the disability.
Okay. Mr. Cornwell, can you answer that same question?
Yes, ma'am. Kind of short version is similar to what Tim said, is that accommodations are determined on a case-by-case basis. They can range from everything to extended time, consideration for absences. We do work to determine housing accommodations for students. Also, like particularly right now, we're working with students who may have issues related to concerns, whether it's immune deficiency concerns related to COVID, trying to bridge some of the gaps with hybrid classes or classes online, the need for classes online, or maybe the need to have classes in some other unique manner. But as always, accommodations are determined case by case, and there's a significant variety of them.
Okay, thank you very much. And next we'll have Jada Neders from Southern answer the same question.
Good morning. As the previous panelists have said, we also provide accommodations based on case-by-case disabilities, but we do offer accommodations for extended time, visually impaired, hearing impairments, and we also do absences as well. And there are certain things or certain disabilities like medical conditions, heart conditions that we are now starting to provide particular accommodations for.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we are going to move to the special programs, and we'll start with John Manella at BRCC. What are the overall goals of your program at BRCC?
Our overall goals are really to foster independence with our students. So we need to make sure that as we interview our students that this is something that they really want and that they have the proper support from their family members or caregivers. Part of our component is finding them jobs outside in the real world. So we don't work with students that may need support in employment. We need to know that they can function independently, can take care of themselves, and but the main thing is to urge independence among our students.
And can you remind everybody which program you are representing?
Yeah, I'm at Baton Rouge Community College, and our program is the Program for Successful Employment.
Thank you. Okay, so now UL Life, can you tell us what is the overall goal of your program? You're on mute.
Thank you. Sorry. We should have this down by now. I think, you know, all the programs across the board are similar, and we want independence for our students. We kind of have four what I call pillars of our program: academic growth, career development, community involvement, and independent living. And we feel like those four areas, by working on those and really diving into those areas, we're able to give students the skills they need to be independent after they leave college. And, you know, we want to make sure that their independence after college is in a job, a career, a living environment that they want, and to truly be able to advocate for themselves. That is the underlying goal of everything we do. So we don't want them to go into a situation where they just kind of, you know, found a job, but it's not something they love. Students go to college to find a career they love. They go to learn independent living skills. And we want our students to do the same thing.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll have Dr. Breaud from Nicholls.
Hi, good morning. We have the Bridge to Independence program at Nicholls State University. Like the UL Life program and the program at Southeastern, we have many similarities in our certificate program. The goal is for students to transition to the workforce and to independent living. Our certificate program is a 2-year program for students with intellectual disability. And we also offer a degree program, which is for students who are accepted to the university working on any degree of their choice. And we provide a host of supports for them to be successful in their courses and to also transition to gainful employment and independent living.
Thank you very much. Next, we will have Southeastern with Alliance Connected.
Hi. Wait, I'm mute. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm Dr. Beckers from Southeastern, like our sister universities at Nicholls and UL Lafayette. We have very similar standards. One thing I think that's unique to our program is we serve a lot of rural communities. So we have to look at our ultimate goal is employment. We have to look at what our students are able to do in the rural communities. So that is, I think, one of the little things that makes us very different from the other programs, because the radius of our program, we serve St. Helena Parish, Washington Parish, way out there. So employment is critical. Becoming contributing members to society to the maximum extent possible is something we really focus on at Lions Connected. But again, like Caroline said and Mary said, we're very similar in what we offer our students, and we work collaboratively for, like, Southeastern does not have on-campus housing, but Nicholls and UL Lafayette do. So if they want on-campus housing, we send them over that way. So
That's great, yes. Okay, so now we'll move to Berger Parish Community College.
Good morning. Yes, it's a program for successful employment at Berger Parish Community College. Again, we have many similarities. One thing that's different about the community colleges is we have some opportunities to provide certificate programs that are different than four-year schools offer. And whether it's a no-show certification or we've had one gentleman earn his license to drive a forklift. So we have a little bit of different training program, but all of us are looking for independence. All of us are looking to make sure these students not only know what's available that they want, but know how to ask for what they need in a way that's appropriate, and not to expect people in high school. It's a high school's job to find you and to see that you have everything you need. But once you move out into the work world, you need to stand up for yourself. And if you haven't had practice doing that, it can be difficult. So that said, another thing that our types of programs offer are some accommodations that typical ADA requirements don't require a college to do. And I think that's important to understand. Maybe you needed some special support in high school that isn't going to be available in college because it's not that you can't have it, it's that you'd have to pay for it yourself. And so that's a difference. We've had students who had to have help because of a significant physical disability. And I think it's important that parents understand that some of these rules change as you go from one law to the next. So please contact any of us and, you know, we'll let you know how to make sure that you're prepared to go on.
Cindy, there's something happening with your connection. We can't hear you. Okay.
We all want people to be welcomed and to be comfortable so they can work towards independence.
Okay. Thank you very much. There was a
Can
little
you
bit
hear me now?
Yes. So there was a little snippet that we could not hear, but we caught the end.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear me? Cindy? Okay. So let's move forward. Hopefully Cindy can get that worked out. We're going to move on to the LSU Health and Science Center.
Good morning. So yeah, I'm Amarachi, and the paycheck program, which stands for Post-Secondary Apprenticeship for Youth Pilot.
And I didn't have any bottle. Can you hear me? Oh.
I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. You can continue.
Okay, so yeah, the Post-Secondary Apprenticeship for Youth Pilot, which stands for Paycheck, is an innovative collaboration between LSU Health Human Development Center and also Louisiana Rehab Services and Delgado Community College. We also include public school systems, charter school associations, and also employers in the New Orleans metro area. So it's a 3-semester program where students participate in courses at Delgado Community College. They also engage in professional career development activities, such as job shadowing and work site visits. They also learn community and work-related skills to gain employment experiences through paid apprenticeships. So our main goal is to increase opportunities for students with disabilities to achieve competitive integrated employment. And I would say the most important skill that we teach in Paycheck is self-advocacy. That's advocating for their accommodations at the community college, advocating for accommodations and extra supports in their jobs, in their careers too.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you all for sharing. Those sound like some really amazing programs. So next, what I'll be doing is now asking individual questions to different programs. I wanted to make a quick note that there will be people posting questions in the chat here on Zoom and also posting questions from the YouTube stream. Because we have such a tight panel and we're tight on time, if any of the panelists see questions in the chat, if they're available to check the chat out every now and then, and if you want to answer those questions while you're waiting, you can, but if not, we'll have to deal with those separately. So let's just move on into the questions for individuals. So my first question is for Johnny Manella. Johnny, how do parents pay for the program?
Well, a large majority of our students actually make payment through LRS or Louisiana Rehabilitation Services. One of the things that we highly recommend, especially for our new students, is as they apply, online through our website, they get a little congratulations, you've applied. And one of the things that we recommend that they do immediately is to reach out to LRS. Hopefully they've already established a relationship in the past while they were in high school, which will help speed the process along to determine whether they qualify for any economic need or financing. Past that, at the present time, students would be required to make payment on their own, and we will work out a little payment plan with them if needed. But I would say probably 90% or more participate through LRS. So one of the things that we did for the fall, and of course COVID changed a lot of things, is we tried to institute a application deadline of May the 1st, which of course we didn't keep because of COVID, because if they are new to LRS, it could take as much as 90 days to have all the proper documentation secured. And we want to be sure that we know that tuition and expenses will be taken care of prior to. But in a short answer, the majority is LRS.
Okay, very good. LRS is a good resource for that. Okay, so my next question is going to be for Tim Delany from McNeese. Tim, does your university accept IEPs or 504 plans from the high schools as documentation? You're on mute.
I'm so sorry. No, we actually, I'll look at them. Most students can get documentation from their doctor, their specialist. The only ones that actually have problems would be the ones that have been diagnosed with the learning disabilities or dyslexia. And we actually do testing over here. So I'll honor the IEP pending they take the test over here. I know it's very expensive if they go on outside. But everyone else can get, a letter from their doctor, their specialist. So maybe, like I said, just the dyslexic and learning disabled students are going to have problems. So we work out that with them, and we honor the IEP. We do look at them.
Okay. So you say that you honor them, but you also, they have to get tested there as well?
Correct. In other words, they won't miss any tests or anything. They'll still get their accommodation, their extended time and all that. But we have them take our test, to make sure that it's up to date and all that for the learning disabilities, the diagnosis.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Next question is for Dr. Caroline Jerisic. How are programs adjusting to the COVID-19 crisis?
So I know for us, we are really, following the lead of our university. We're involved in our, the university has created an emergency response team, and I've been participating in those meetings on a committee. We are trying as hard as we can to, we know the importance of face-to-face interaction for our students, but we also know the importance of health standards for our students, and especially for our immunocompromised students. So we are looking kind of at each individual student and making plans for them based on their needs, while also trying as best as possible to keep that face-to-face interaction, keep them going to work as long as it is a safe environment on campus. So it's really been a team effort for us, specifically across the board from our university. We've been working with our housing department directly. We've been working with our student engagement. We've been working with dining services. We've been working with the faculty on campus to determine what classes will be remote, what will be face-to-face. But whenever we know that when our students attend any classes that are going to be remote, our mentors who support our students in classes are also going to attend those classes with them, regardless of if it's through a computer or sitting a few feet apart, so they can have that one-on-one support from a mentor, and not be sitting behind a computer and feeling overwhelmed or not feeling like they can really grasp the information fully. So we're doing our best to figure everything out, but I think regardless, we're going to, have a successful semester, all things considering.
Very good, very good. Okay, Our next question is for Dr. Beckers with Lions Connected. Dr. Beckers, what adjustments are you making in preparation for the fall semester and COVID safety precautions?
Well, we are following the university's protocol, which I think is pretty standard across the state. We are increasing the social distancing. We require masks, our students to wear a mask, which we've been working with our parents over the summer because some of our students who have sensory concerns, wearing a mask has been a challenge. We are sanitizing. We will be sanitizing every day, as I'm sure all the other universities are. Our whole campus was sanitized. We're utilizing additional space throughout our building when we have social skills and life skills training. So we're not just all in one area because we have one location where we meet, begin the day and end the day. So we're utilizing empty offices, open spaces, common spaces that have more space to separate our students. And, you know, I think we're using this opportunity to teach appropriate social skills because some of our students don't understand personal space. So this is a really good way to teach that life skill of you have to be, you know, step away from someone, or what is 6 feet, that type of thing.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'd like to ask Dr. Mary Breaud that same question. What adjustments are you making in preparation for the fall semester for COVID safety?
Sure, thank you. We also are following all university precautions and procedures. There are many things that are in place on the Nicholls State University webpage that families and individuals can go to and read through what exactly the university is doing. Like the others have said, we are utilizing university health services. We have a doctor on staff at the university. We are, you know, following all of this sanitizing procedures. Nicholls has purchased equipment to go in and spray classes after, you know, students have been in that area. We are also utilizing additional space, utilizing face masks. The university has purchased those. Bridge has purchased some specific for our students and staff. We are utilizing Zoom in addition to face-to-face classes and interaction. We're going to be following everything that we typically do with all of those safety precautions in place that are outlined by the university and all of the protocols.
Okay, thank you very much. My next question is for Benjamin Cornwell. Are there any notable changes for disability services that you'd like to share that are happening at LSU?
In regard to
Disability.
COVID,
Yes.
or just in general?
Yes, COVID.
I think the biggest thing for us is, you know, the move to an online format, students getting adjusted to that. Students with, whether it is some sort of immune deficiency or other conditions who may need only online classes, so working with the students and the faculty members to make sure that's put in place, make sure appropriate housing accommodations are in place for the students that need that. We are working with the institution and following the institution's policies for cleaning and helping determine what is being done to make sure students are receiving appropriate services and can be in the educational process in a safe environment.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll have Cindy Hayes. So Cindy, why choose inclusive higher education? Oh, I'm sorry, Cindy, we're still waiting to get connected. So we'll move on to, is she there? Okay. So we'll move on to Amarachi. Amarachi, who is a good candidate for the paycheck program? You're on mute.
Thank you. So in order to, for a student to qualify for our program, they have to be between the ages of 18 and 22 years of age with an IEP or a Section 504 plan. They also have to be eligible for LRS services. And we have an application process where they have to submit a brief description of why they want to complete the paycheck program. And that includes letters of recommendation, and the parents or their guardians, they must also support the student to participate in our program as well.
Okay, great, great. Next, we have Jada Neders from Southern University. Jada, how can the rights of students registered with disability services that receive accommodations during COVID-19 be protected?
One way that we are working on making sure our students' rights are protected is by working with faculty, and we are doing faculty training. So over the next 2 weeks or so, we will have small group sessions with each department where myself and my colleague who's over ADA compliance will go through the federal laws, 504 laws, to make sure that our faculty understand that even though we're working online or working remotely or doing hybrid courses, that they still have to provide the accommodations for students.
Okay, very good. And Cindy, you can let me know when you have connected via telephone, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick minute to read the questions from chat since we got through our first round for everyone. Okay, so a question from Paul Coles. Good morning, all. Is there a way I can contact the representatives from LSU and Southeastern? I'm a veteran representative in Hammond and would like to set up an outreach.
Hi, this is Dr. Beckers from Southeastern. We can be reached at lionsconnected@selu.edu. That's all one word, lionsconnected@selu.edu. And my personal email is gbeckers@selu.edu.
Thank you, Dr. Beckers.
And this is Benjamin Cornwell from LSU. The best ways to contact us are calling our office at 225-578-5919 or emailing disability@lsu.edu.
Melanie,
Yes.
this is Bambi. What we could do is collect and maybe make a sheet of all the contact information for all the programs and people who were here. Maybe if all the panelists could send that information to you, and we'll just compile all of that to be able to send out to our people who registered for the conference.
Okay. Pertaining to that question or all questions here?
No, just so people can have the way to contact these people who are everyone who's presenting, so they, people might have follow-up questions or just want to see more about the program and their websites and that type of thing.
Okay. So my next question is from Elaine Harmon. Will the universities increase the nursing professional or have a COVID-19 testing site set up where testing can be immediately done in case it needed? Is there a plan in place to accommodate this? And anybody who'd like to answer can answer that.
This is Benjamin at LSU again. Our student health center is working to be able to provide COVID testing as needed. They're going to be randomly sampling 10 to 16% of the student population throughout the semester, but also as needed, their students will be able to go through and have testing done through our student health center.
Hi, it's Gerlinde Beckers at Southeastern. We've already had a remote on-campus COVID testing where they brought to our site, and we'll utilize our health center also, as I'm sure most of the other universities will.
Okay. So I'll move on to the next question. Are the tests provided at a cost to students and families? If the school evaluation is current, why wouldn't they be honored? Dyslexia and learning disabilities are rarely cured. I think this is for, Tim.
Achievement levels, they do improve as one gets older. It's mostly for our records. We require all documentation has to be within 3 years, and most of the time, these LD tests are done in the elementary year. Sometimes they do upgrade them. I will add this: if they have a psych eval for different disabilities, and it's recent, like in their senior year, we usually honor that. But most of the time, we just it's pretty much for our records. We want to see, where they are at educational, wise, because conditions do change. The accommodations pretty much remain the same, but we want to make sure that there's something we're missing there. We've never had a student that was diagnosed, let's say in elementary school, that it didn't show back up on our test. It's accurate. We know it's lifelong. It doesn't go away. Students have to learn to deal with it. But it's for our benefit. It just kind of helps us to see where their weaknesses are and their strengths. Because usually when you're diagnosed as learning disabled, you're going to have pretty much strengths in a lot of areas, or normalcy, and you'll have that one area that plummets, maybe math, maybe English, but we need to know, what do we need to help them with?
Okay, thank you.
It's free, it doesn't cost anything.
Okay, so we had another question from a panelist, Hyacinth McKee, who wanted to know from the other panelists, does your program honor the IEP 504 for students? And if not, please explain the process. So we can start with, I'm not sure if that was directed only to the disability services programs or if she wanted it for all panelists. So I'll wait for her response, but we can start with LSU maybe?
Yeah, sure. IEPs are typically, for us, considered supplemental documentation. It depends on how well the IEP is done, what information is included within the IEP. Sometimes, the information, the evaluation that's inside the IEP, if there's an evaluation included with the IEP, is different from parish to parish, even school to school, state to state. So we need to take a look and see what's going on, how things were determined, and review it. Sometimes they need supplemental documentation from their doctor or a new evaluation. If they have an outdated eval, the institution does have some funding that was provided by an endowment, honestly, to do some evaluations. But it's going to be really different. And it's going to depend on each case as we review it.
Okay, thank you. And so next, can we have Jada from Southern address the same question?
For us at Southern, yes, we do review the IEPs and 504 plans from the K-12 programming, but that is not the only thing that we look at. It is a supplemental document as the same thing as LSU, and we do require new testing to be done. Unfortunately, at Southern, our students are responsible for the cost of the test. So we normally have a list of referral sources that we give them where they can go and get outside testing done. We also offer testing on campus, but it is an additional charge that they can have added to their tuition costs. So we haven't had the opportunity to write grants or anything like that to help supplement the cost of the testing. I know as a school psychologist, it can get quite expensive for testing, but that is our process right now.
If I may, I want to jump in real quick as a follow-up to what was being said by Southern. Is all university, if you go to OCR's website, there's a good pamphlet that for incoming students and parents, the costs for documentation is on the student. Some universities have been able to get things in place to alleviate some of those costs, but the actual legally, unfortunately, the costs cost actually does fall to the student or that family.
Okay, thank you. So my next question from the chat is, can each of the, no, I'm sorry, I didn't go to the other programs. So let me start with BRCC. Can you answer the same question about 504 and IEPs?
Sure. We do use the 504 and IEP as part of our admissions application. So, we can use a copy or something like that. So there's no additional charge.
Thank you. Next, UL Life.
We also, in the admissions process, review IEPs. Our students have intellectual disabilities and developmental disabilities, so we typically don't have students with 504s. It's more the full IEP, but we look at those in the admissions process and review those.
Thank you. Nicholls.
Hi. For our program, we also do ask for the evaluation for our certificate program. Our students do have an intellectual disability within our CTP guidelines. So we do ask for the evaluation. We do accept the IEP for supplemental documentation also. And for our degree program, our students, we ask them also for an evaluation. The criteria for that program is for the student to be diagnosed with autism or ASD. And with those students who are going through disability services at the university, that's needed for their classroom and testing accommodations also.
Thank you. Southeastern.
We, like UL and Nicholls, use, because our students have intellectual and developmental disabilities, we require the IEP basically to see where in the last evaluation, if the students had just exited high school, that'll be current, but if they've sat out a year, it might be a year old, but still we use that document. And we all have admission requirements, and one of our admission requirements is we can't have students that have severe behavior problems because we're a university campus. And so we use the IEP to see what was documented, behavior plans, medication, that type of stuff. So we rely on the IEP and the evaluation of students. We don't do 504 again because our students have intellectual and developmental disabilities that are in the Alliance Connected program.
Thank you, Dr. Beckers. Now we will have Cindy Haying. I think she's connected.
I believe so. Is that working? Yes. For our program, it depends on whether they're a student in the CTP program and have an intellectual disability and our auditing class. If so, we're able to take their most recent evaluation and IEP from school. If they're students that require accommodations in class because they're taking for credit because they're on the spectrum, they would have to meet the regular criteria for typical academic students. And what that would mean is that they will take the IEP for the first semester, but they're going to ask you to provide documentation that's within 3 years. If your senior year you had an evaluation and that testing is current, that's fine. If you are going to need to have your have your testing redone because it's older, then we're probably going to refer you to Louisiana Rehab Services or some other place if you need help finding the cost of that.
Thank you. And Cindy, can you also answer the question that we were asking earlier about your program? Why choose inclusive higher education?
Oh, so many reasons. One of the biggest ones is the fact that you're able to learn alongside your peers and you're able to make that transition from the expectations of high school to the expectations of the work world. Again, though the law changes between high school and college, and so often I've seen over the years students that had really big challenges because they walk into a job and they think they're going to have the same services they had in high school or the same expectations. And just like every other typical student, college is the time for growing up. And this is a wonderful way to do it, and to be beside your peers, learning at the same time they're learning, what's going to be expected of you as you interact in the adult world. So inclusive higher education, it's a critical learning time for anyone at this age.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, another question for each of the programs, the higher ed options for individuals with disabilities. Can you please provide the cost of each program or an estimated cost? And we can start with, I'll just keep the same order, BRCC.
Hi, good morning. So roughly on average, the cost per semester is about $2,750. And that's noted on our webpage as well.
Okay, thank you. UL Life.
So our students register for hours within the university. So our students pay the same tuition that the entire university would pay if they were a 12-hour student, a 15-hour student. So that is about $5,000 per semester, right around there. And the same thing for our housing. Our housing cost is the exact same as it is for other students, even with the additional supports we offer.
Thank you very much. Nicholls.
We also go with the university hours as far as how many hours the students are taking, depends upon their tuition and fees. Our certificate students, that's a 2-year program. They take 6 or 7 hours each semester. So that's around $1,200 or $1,500. Our degree students, they're gonna take anywhere from 369 to full schedule at 12 or more hours. So that's whatever the university tuition and fees are. We do have a bridge fee, which pays for our staff, which is $2,055 per semester. And our housing cost for those that do choose to live on campus is the same as the university fees, and all of those fees and expenses can be found on the Nicholls State University website.
Thank you so much, Dr. Breaud. Southeastern.
Southeastern, we have a $3,000 flat fee each semester. We service a lot of students who from high poverty areas, and they qualify because we are a certified transition program. They qualify for Pell. The majority of our students are on Pell grants, and right now they get like $3,045 a semester for Pell, and that covers everything. It covers their class fees. We rent our textbooks. So it includes their textbook rental fee, it includes their student ID, everything's wrapped up in the $3,000 per semester. And the reason we keep it that low is gives the students who otherwise would not have the opportunity to be in a post-secondary program because of financial reasons, the opportunity. And all of our fees are online on our webpage also.
Thank you, Dr. Beckers. Next, Berger Parish Community College.
Yes, our students, as with several of the others, if you're taking academic classes, and most of our students take around 6 a semester, they'll have the typical tuition and fees that a student would at Berger Parish Community College. The fee for our program supports for our staff and all the extra support we provide is $2,304 a semester, and that's on our website, as are the typical tuition and fees for the academic classes. Again, because we're a CTP, students would be eligible if their families are for Pell financing, and also Louisiana Rehab Services has been a resource for some of them for extra funding.
Okay, thanks. LSU Health and Science Center.
So with the paycheck program, the tuition and fees and books, they're covered by the student's high school or the school system. Services such as employment, pre-employment transition skills training, job development, and placement, that's paid for by Louisiana Rehab Services.
Melanie, before you move on, I have a question for paycheck that was in the box. I don't think it was answered. What districts, school districts do you work with?
So we work with Jefferson Parish schools. We also work with charter schools. So they would usually, if there's let's say there's a student who's interested and we haven't worked with the school system, then we usually coordinate to work with them. So we've worked with Orleans Parish School Board, and usually, I would say generally just the Metairie, New Orleans, even we also serve on the West Bank too.
So you're out of LSU Human Development Center, and the students are from those school districts, and you provide the services at, is it Delgado?
Yes, at Delgado Community College, and just throughout the community. So Delgado Community College, that's where they take their courses, but we do community training, and also we help them while they're also on the job too, when they receive employment.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. We have one more question in the chat box, and this one is from Kathy Dwyer. I came on late and may have missed it, but what are the costs to, so we just finished answering that question, so we're going to move on. So my next question is for Johnny Manella from BRCC. How do the internships work?
Great question. So after our first semester, typically, not always, but typically, once the students have received a variety of different training, including safety and so forth, then we, based on their initial interview, we try to assess what the students' interests are, and based on the different job sites that we have, we try to place them in a variety of different areas. And one of the things I've been doing this summer is unfortunately not being able to visit, but to actually speak with a lot of different potential employers to see if they are interested in partnering with us. So we're not looking for anything specific because a lot of our students have a lot of different interests. But one of the things I've been trying to set as a goal for the department is to be involved with much larger organizations. So some of the people that we have been in negotiations with are places like Bethany Church, Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center, a company called Vivid Inc., some other churches, a writing therapy program, and so forth. So once we feel that we can match a student based on their interest with a particular internship, then we kind of go from there. We don't just drop them off and say you're on your own. We do work with them. We have a transition specialist, actually two, that will work with the students, make sure that they understand what the responsibilities are of that position. And then we coach them and guide them from there. And one of the things I like to remind the potential job sites and any supervisor is that this is a partnership and we need to work together. So we need to know if our students are struggling with a particular area or just need to kind of sit down and kind of talk a little bit, or maybe they need a different way or learn a different way of doing a particular job. And so we try to be as hands-on as we possibly can in order to make sure that they are successful, because if they don't feel like they're successful, then they're not going to put forth all the effort that is needed to complete the program.
Thank you. Sounds like you do a lot of work to keep them, have them prepared.
Yes.
Good. My next question is for Tim Delany at McNeese. Tim, does your university offer priority registration for students with disabilities?
Yes, we do. All of our students, it's once you've been accepted to the university, it would be the following semester. You register with my office and you get priority registration. And you have to register at the beginning of every semester, you know, to keep that qualified. And also I wanted to mention, you know, talking about services a while ago, our services are free. You know, they pay the same amount as everyone else does for as far as tuition goes. We have free tutoring, math, sciences, a writing center, and all that's free.
Very good. Thank you so much. Really quickly, I'm going to also ask this question from the chat. It says that LDOE has several diploma pathways. Does your university accept TOPS Tech diploma? And so maybe we could start with, I'm assuming it's for all panelists, so we can start with Tim, since you were there already.
I know that a lot of students are come to McNeese on TOPS. I'm not sure what TOPS Tech, what that is. I mean, you have to make the, you know, the ACT score and the grade to get in. We're a closed admissions university. But if it's TOPS related, I would think so.
Okay. And Johnny at BRCC, do you know if they accept the TOPS Tech diploma?
I mean, TOPS Tech is accepted at the college in general, but I've never seen anybody as far as our program. As I mentioned earlier, most of our students come in through LRS, but TOPS Tech is an approved scholarship at BRCC in general, yes.
Thank you. How about UL Life?
Hey, we have never had a student with a TOPS Tech diploma. Again, our students are coming in typically from the special education program at their school. And since we do serve students with intellectual and developmental disabilities, we typically see the certificate of achievements that the state provides, and then the Act 833 diplomas.
Thank you. Southeastern, Dr. Beckers.
We have an MOU with North Shore Technical Community College. So if students come with a TOPS Tech, they'd be eligible to go to North Shore, and chances are they're not eligible for admissions into Southeastern. So we would refer them on to North Shore. Like the other programs, because of our certification, if they're eligible for traditional enrollment in a university, or in that case, a technical or community vocational school, they're not eligible for our post-secondary program because of the way that our programs are accredited. But we do have the technical piece that we refer, and we work closely with our vocational technical community college because we share the same campus to offer a lot of opportunities even for our Lions Connected students.
Okay, thank you. Cindy Haying.
We're in this similar situation. If they're coming in through a through the comprehensive transition and post-secondary program, they generally have intellectual disabilities. And what we've been able to accept are students that have certificates of achievement. And we do have some students who most recently have earned the diplomas available through the April Dunn Act. And it's my understanding those students would also be eligible to enroll in academic classes.
Okay, thanks. Amarachi.
Yes, for our students as well, there's not really a requirement for the diploma that they receive because most of our students, they are still enrolled in high school when they come into our program.
Okay, and Jada.
For Southern University as a whole, we are a four-year university, so I'm not sure if they take the top tech diploma there. 100%. I don't want to say yes or no because it may be by chance that they do. I know that we do not offer any vocational training at Southern. We are, again, a four-year institution where you're looking to get your BS or your BA degree. And so, unfortunately, at that time, I really can't answer it directly for that person.
Thank you very much. And so there was a comment that says, since the passage of the April Dunn Act, more of our students have been able to obtain the TOPS Tech diploma.
Melanie, can I weigh in on this one?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed you.
That's okay. That's all right.
Okay.
The TOPS Tech diploma is primarily geared for students that are looking to go on to a vocational community college. The courses that they're going to take at the high school are going to be a little bit different from what they would need to apply and to be accepted to a university. So with our bridge program, with our certificate students, if someone came in with a TOPS Tech diploma and still met the ID, then yes, they could be accepted. Our certificate program does accept any type of high school diploma. Our students that are coming in for our degree program, they are accepted by the university prior to applying to Bridge. So we have had many families that have come and asked about the TOPS Tech diploma. And typically that is designed for the student to go to the vocational or community college. If that is what they do, they can start there and then they can transition to the university, but it is in line with the university admissions procedures.
Very good, Dr. Breaud. Okay, Bambi has a question.
This is for Dr. Beckers. Dr. Beckers, I know that you received some funding through the Developmental Disabilities Council in regards to a consortium, I think. I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology, but it's basically to help grow the number of programs we have for people with developmental disabilities on college or post-secondary campuses. Can you just share very briefly about that?
Yes, we have the funding, we call it LAPI, Louisiana Post-Secondary Inclusive Education. It's an alliance, and all the post-secondary programs actually on this panel, we've all agreed, we're all part of the partnership of this alliance. And the goal is to promote more programs. I'm currently working with Dr. Danielle Williams at Grambling State University, and I can't pronounce his name, but Dr. Hapen at LSUA. They're starting or in the process of starting post-secondary programs on their campuses. And all my colleagues who have post-secondary programs, we've worked together. We decided, because the universities are certified, we have a standard that we have to abide by for our accreditation. And so is Bossier City. And I know Johnny's working with BRCC on their accreditation. So the alliance is to basically promote post-secondary programs. We work together to help universities who want to start programs and just basically provide technical support, because I believe all of us who are on this panel believe in the post-secondary options for our students with disabilities, and just awareness that they're out there and what our students can have. And a lot of times parents just don't know. So what I ask parents, alumni, reach out to your universities, reach out to your communities and say, hey, why can't we have this program at our school, in our area? So basically that's it. We have a web page and we have a Facebook page. It's called LAPI, Louisiana Post-Secondary Inclusive Education Alliance.
Thank you, Dr. Beckers. So our next question is going to be for Dr. Jerisic. What are the requirements for students to attend the PSE programs?
Okay, so the good news is that we all, as far as Southeastern and Nicholls, and we've we presented together multiple times. We all have very similar requirements. So, you know, what I say likely, they might have a few different things to add in if they go on to it. But we require students to have completed a high school education program, whether that be their special education program, whether that be, you know, a private school, that they have to have completed high school. And then we look at a couple of different things. We look at the evaluation because of our certification, as Dr. Breaud and Dr. Beckers mentioned. And then we really start getting into age range too. So our program specifically is 18 to 25 upon entrance into the program. They must fall with that age range. We look at the students' behavior. So we look at that through the IEP. We look at that through contacting teachers and references. That's a big thing for, I think, all of our programs. Behavior being, you know, having to be in line with what is expected of a college university. And then we look at the individual student's desire. You know, I always tell parents and students that when a student is forced to continue their education, whether a student with a disability or our traditional college students, it's usually not successful if they don't want to be there. It's a struggle. It's difficult to get them to engage and motivate. So we really look at the student's desire. Are they wanting to be there? Do they have goals that they have for themselves that college will allow them to better reach those goals? That's a big thing for me personally. And then we look at, once we get into our advanced program, we have a basic and advanced. We do look at comprehension levels. We look at math skills, but the basic program, it's more of the whole student we're looking at. While they may not have the strongest comprehension skills, you know, they may bring something else to the table that's really strong. So it's a whole student kind of process, figuring out if they're, you know, going to be a good fit for the program.
Very good, very good. I'm going to read a comment really quickly. So Hyacinth McKee said that Dr. Becker's LA Pi will do many great things for our scholars and families. Thank you for working diligently, and we look forward to the success of the Alliance.
Thank you.
M. Johns asked a question. How do we get more information on eligibility for these programs, and which one may be the best fit for the student? Also, are there similar programs in the state that are not represented here today? And I think we try to make sure that each program that we have in the state is represented, but maybe somebody else can answer that.
I can answer if you give me 1 second. The LA Pi website has all the programs that are current, the post-secondary programs. I'm not speaking for the Offices of Disability Affairs or Offices of Accessibility, but all the PSE programs, we have links off the LA Pi Alliance to those programs. And what is there is what currently exists, except LSUA and Grambling are working diligently to start programs. So that's one location where you can see kind of a snippet of all the programs, and the people who are on this panel for those programs, their contact information is there.
Thank you, Dr. Beckers. We have one more comment from Louisiana Parent Training and Information. No, I'm sorry. Louisiana Parent Training and Information Center is a program of families helping families of Greater New Orleans. Our new grant has a post-secondary goal, and we'd love to work with all of you to ensure students are aware of the post-secondary options. Thank you for that comment. We have about 6 minutes left. I do have more questions, but I would like to really give each program an opportunity to maybe, if you want to, you know, if there's some pitch or information you'd like to throw out there before we close the session, you can go ahead and have an opportunity to do so now. And anybody can jump in, I don't want to go through the list in case there is not something that you'd like to close with.
I'll go ahead and start it off. The Bridge to Independence program at Nicholls State University, our certificate program, the age limit is 18 to 28 upon entering. There is no age limit for our degree program of the Bridge. We are looking for levels of independence. Our program is fully inclusive. We do want our students to have the desire for employment and individualized independent living upon completion. We have a Facebook page, Bridge to Independence at Nicholls State University, and we usually have in-person semester seminars. We were not able to do those last semester, but we are looking to do those this semester with Zoom. So Facebook is probably the best place to look, and if you don't have that, you can email me at any time. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mary.
I think the main goal for all of our programs is to let parents, caregivers, families, whatever that may be, that there are options for their kids, as I call everybody, out there past high school. I know that we try to visit as many high schools as we can, guidance counselors, try to speak in many places as we possibly can. We're hoping to do an open house. Of course, with COVID, we never know what that's going to look like. But as a parent of a special needs child who recently finished this program, our hopes are that we do foster independence and give them the courage and whatever boost they may need to further on. My son actually completed his first online class this summer at BRCC and is registered for 2 more classes this fall. So we work very hard with him, and he is excited about the challenges. And again, we just want other parents to know that there are options for their kids out there. They just need to really reach out or contact the different colleges and universities.
I have to add something from a different perspective, because I am a full-time faculty member at Southeastern, that for parents, advocates, and anyone who's out there, the people who are on this panel, we do the post-secondary. But as a faculty member, it's so important for the high school teachers and agencies to work with the students on the self-advocacy, because once they start college, we have these, the Office of Disability Services, accessibility. If the students don't advocate for themselves, their parents can no longer come up there and say, hey, my kid needs. So like I think Cindy had said, there's that strong divide between high school and college. And we need the students to be able to advocate, to know what's available, to go to these different offices who are there willing to help. But the students have to be able to advocate and say, this is what I need. And once they get the accommodations, to be able to follow through with the accommodations if they're not getting their tests read, they're not getting extended time. And so I think that's really important for all students with disabilities who are entering a post-secondary program, traditional program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Beckers. We may have time for one more closing statement.
Yeah, this is Benjamin from LSU. I think everyone here, their overall goal is for our students to be successful, complete the program, and or depending on what program it is, to graduate. One thing I would say for anyone who's considering, especially coming in this fall, is to get registered with the program, the Disability Services Office, get the documentation in, get that done as soon as possible. We have a lot of students who wait until they arrive, and then by the time they've gotten their documentation submitted, gotten registered, it may be weeks into the semester, not because we take long to process it, but it may take long to get it from the school, it may take long to get it from the doctor, and it sets them behind. So I really would encourage students to get started as soon as possible, to go ahead and get registered this summer so they can hit the ground running.
Thank you so much. And we'll go ahead and give Jada, I saw you were going to speak at the same time, so we'll give you a minute.
Yes. I'm just going to add on to what Dr. Beckers and Mr. Benjamin said. Students need to start early with doing the process for registering with the Office of Disability Services in post-secondary education and higher education. I also agree with Dr. Beckers. We need students to be better advocates for themselves. I have a lot of situations right now where parents are calling and want to advocate for their student, but the student is the one that actually needs to be advocating for themselves, because once we provide the information or provide the letters or approve the accommodations, they have to be the ones to go and talk with their professors to make sure that they understand how those accommodations are going to be implemented in each course, because from professor to professor, it may look a little differently. So we want to make sure that our students understand that in this course, the professor will implement it in this way, and that they will be permitted to take their tests with the Office of Disability Services. But right now, I still have a lot of parent interaction where they are trying to do the advocating for their student at the higher ed level. And it really should be the student themselves.
Thank you so much. So this is going to close our session on higher ed. Thank you all for being here. You provided some really great information. So hopefully people will be reaching out to you all and flooding your programs. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you again here next year.
Melanie, before we close and people get off, can we get, and I'll say this so the interpreters can say this on the screen, if all of the panelists would put on their cameras and the interpreters can turn off their cameras. We won't speak when they turn on their cameras. And that way, I think that would be a great visual for our newsletter to have all your beautiful faces on the screen. So, Sylvie, you turn off the camera. Thank you.
You all look so beautiful.
Let me see if it's coming. Yeah, it's coming up.
I'm going to use that on my bridge page too on Facebook.
I'm trying to find my snippet here.
Like, she should probably tell y'all when she's going to snap it, right?
I think I got everyone. There's 8 people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Because Cindy could not get on with her video.
Oh,
All right,
that's right.
guys.
Thank you.
And interpreters, you can come back on so we can give instructions for the next session. So we'll continue to have our YouTube streaming, and we'll have Zoom. You can stay in Zoom. That'll continue on. Our next session is supported decision-making, which is a law that's just newly passed in Louisiana, and also some other legal options for people as they go into adulthood. So please stay on, and we'll be back at 10 o'clock. Thanks.